Novak, in his 18th year as the head man for the Wolverines. The cupboard a bit bare this year, only 7 returning starters, Kevin.
Well, George Novak likes to say that, you know, every year the cupboard's a bit bare because he has so many seniors to replace, 25 seniors on a regular basis. But, you know, losing the guys that they did at key positions, you know, you lose your starting quarterback, tailback, fullback, receiver, so many different positions, and they were all big-time players, Division I players at those positions. So that's what's going to be really challenging. I think the key thing that you're going to see is that they don't really have a prime-time senior in this class. One of these guys may develop into one. We just don't know about him going into the season. You know, Matt Griggs is the kind of guy who made a name very quickly for himself. But the junior class is loaded. Everybody knows it. It's just a matter of whether they're ready to carry that loaded and to carry that banner and get Woodland Hills back on top, because they really haven't dropped. But that was the first time you didn't see them in at least the semifinals or the finals for a long time. And so this is a Woodland Hills team that for once really comes in without such a high billing, and one that has to prove itself. And it's against the Gateway team that, despite its 0-1 record, is very, very good. This is a Gateway team that very well, had they won that game, could be nationally ranked by USA Today. They were almost in the regional rankings. It's just, you have to give them credit for being willing to schedule tough opponents the first 2 weeks and take the risk of having a loss on your record. So that's something that Gateway, you know, Gateway has the star player. That right now all the momentum's on their side. We'll see after this game, you know, who's the real deal.
Head coach of the Gators, Terry Smith, in his 3rd year as the head man. He was an outstanding wide receiver in his days at Penn State from 87 to 91. And he is the stepfather of the great Justin King, but also his nephew is Aaron Smith, a former wide receiver and now the starting quarterback.
And Aaron's, you know, the son of Harvey Smith, Terry's brother, who played at West Virginia, is also, you know, another big-time Gateway player. Aaron proved himself pretty well last week. He had a couple drop passes, but, you know, for a guy to have to come out and play your very first varsity game at quarterback against Central Catholic, against a nationally ranked team, he held his own, and he did it in the second half. They didn't really move the ball too well, but really the load was on his shoulders in the second half when Justin went down with the cramps. So Aaron proved himself. You know, it's going to be interesting to see whether the passing game can really open things up for the running game this year, because they're really relying on their defense, this Gateway team, and their offense is going to need that balance because everybody else is zeroing in on Justin.
Back on Woodland Hills, their starting quarterback, Mark Rosado, had an off-season shoulder surgery. It was on his non-throwing arm. First year as the starting quarterback there, and boy, visiting with Coach Novak, he has great things to say about him. Said he's very accurate, very smart, and he's very good when he gets out of the pocket and throws the football down the field.
Surprising, because the only time we really got a glimpse of Mark last year was against Penn Hills in the regular season finale at Woody High over at the Wolverina. And Mark went down with that shoulder injury at that time. It was something that had been aggravated, and you could see that he really, even though it wasn't on his throwing shoulder, he really couldn't do much with it. And so Mark, you know, Mark proved his mettle in that game. But they also, you know, they could have really used to having a backup because Dennis Selman was injured late in the season. And that's what really did this Woodland Hills team in. When you have, you know, Devin Lyons, who's at Ohio State now, he's hobbling around. You have Dennis Selman hobbling around. You know, you're not getting the production out of the big guys at the time that you needed. So I don't think Woodland Hills had a disappointing season last year. I think they had a run of bad luck for maybe the first time in several years, because Woodland Hills has been on top for a long time. I think it was surprising for people to see them fall the way they did. But then again, you see the team they lost to was Central Catholic. It wasn't an embarrassing loss. It wasn't a close game, as close as they would have liked. But, you know, they lost to a team that won the WPL title and went to the state final and just knocked off a nationally ranked team and ended a 35-game win streak. So that's not necessarily a loss to be ashamed of.
With the Wolverines, you mentioned the great Devin Lyons. His younger brother, Wes Lyons, now the go-to wideout, 3 catches, 28 yards last week. The thing that sticks out in my mind with him, 6'6", 187. Pretty good height for a wide receiver at this level.
Well, I can remember when their cousin, Ryan Mundy, decided that he was going to announce that he was going to Michigan a couple years ago when Ryan was a senior. Wes Lyons was smaller than me. Now, I go 5'11". Wes was shorter than me at the time. Just 2 years later, Wes is 6'6", and he's had these growth spurts. He keeps outgrowing all of his clothes. His dad says, hey, you know, I have to go out and buy him a new wardrobe every 6 months because this kid won't stop growing. He's already surpassed his brother, who's about 6'4". And this guy, you know, he has a chance to be a special player at that size. You know, if he can continue playing receiver and D-back, you know, he may outgrow the D-back position. At that size, he may end up as a D-end. But, you know, as a receiver right now, that's what people are looking for. A big guy who can run, who can catch. You know, Wes has a lot of skills. And maybe he'll get a chance to prove himself tonight against a big-time defensive backfield.
About set to go. Let's head down to Ryan Burr for the coin toss. Ryan.
Yes, indeed. It's time now for that coin toss. Got the band out on the field here. So Woodland Hills just entering the field right now. Trying to work out a couple of the minor kinks here before we go to the Pittsburgh Tribune Review coin toss. Waiting for the okay from the officials. And just a couple minor delays here. Both teams, a little posturing going on right now as Gateway not entirely onto the field, and it appears the officials are going to wait for that. The clock reads 12. It's ready to get going. We're just waiting for the official call. Gateway now entering the field. And once they come through, we will be ready to head out to midfield for the coin toss. Game number 3 here, the Pennsylvania Kickoff Classic. The first two have been blowouts. We expect this to be a little bit more competitive between Woodland Hills and Gateway, two bitter rivals. And I guess we are still waiting on something that I don't know what we're waiting on right now. I'm going to ask the official on live TV, what exactly are we waiting on?
We're waiting for the band to get out of the middle of the field so we can do the coin toss.
Okay, and
We'll be there momentarily. Here we go now.
And here we go. Had to get the band out of the way. They're now gone, and Gateway and Woodland Hills, the captains, will now meet at center field, and we can get this thing underway. Storied rivalry these programs have had with each other. Both teams on their way to midfield now, as we're about ready to get things started here.
Okay, Captain, introduce yourself. Okay, guys, my name is Bill Heitkamp. My umpire is Pat Scullin. Fellas, I'd like to introduce you to the representatives from the Pittsburgh Tribune Review and from Forbes Regional Health Center. Okay, captains, I hold the position of captain in very high esteem. I want you to be leaders of your team all day long. If I have a problem, I'm going to come to you, okay? Woodland Hills, you're going to call the coin toss. This is the head, this is the tail. Call it loud enough so the umpire can hear it. There we go. He calls heads. It is a tail. You want to toss.
Gateway has won the field toss, and Gateway has elected to receive. Woodland Hills has elected to defend the north end zone. So Gateway will get the football. And we're about ready for football. Brent and Kevin, an unbelievable day of football we've had here so far. East versus West in the first two games. Western Pennsylvania has proven to be the more dominant of the two sides. Now we get West versus West. Two Whitfield teams go head-to-head. Should be a lot of fun. We'll head upstairs to you guys.
Ryan, great job. And Gateway goes on offense first, but I want to talk about one of their defenders, linebacker Mike Barlack, 6'2", 218 senior.
Well, Mike is a guy who has been the leader of this defense. He had a big game last week against Central Catholic, and he's a guy. It's funny, I talked to him last week, and I said, Mike, what's it been like for you recruiting-wise and everything? So people want to see what I can do in the game because I had off-season arthroscopic knee surgery. He said all they do is clean it out, make sure everything was okay. He said, but people won't believe me, but I actually got a step faster. He said, I went from running a 4.7 40 to a 4.6. So here's a linebacker at that size with speed, who's tough, and he's the leader of that defense. He's going to play a key role in this game because Gateway's defense is really what carries this team. You have the defensive backfield led by Justin King. Well, even Justin King admits the core of this team right here is a linebacker where you have Mike Barlack and Stan Lohheide. Those two guys are run stoppers, and they're big-time players.
Barlack last season, 95 tackles, 8 sacks, 2 picks. Pulled his hip flexor in week 1 last week. Coach said, hey, do you need to come out of the game? He said, heck no, I'm going to suck it up and play the rest of the way. He did. He's healthy this week, and he's good to go. One more thing. Justin King had some cramp problems last week. Did not play most of the second half. Maybe one of the reasons they weren't able to upend Central Catholic. Coach Terry Smith telling me he is good to go, though, tonight.
Well, it's just a matter of Justin rounding into season form. He missed the entire track season with a hamstring injury. You talk about the cramps. Justin's ready to play. It's just a matter of whether he can play the entire game under these weather conditions.
The kick is a ground ball, and the knee touches of Charles King at the 15-yard line. In fact, at the 16, so that's where Gateway begins. And certainly Woodland Hills showing early on they don't want to kick to the deep men, Charles King and Justin King. Aaron Smith is the quarterback, 6 foot 178. He is a junior, converted wide receiver in his first year as a starting quarterback here for the Gateway Gators.
And they're going to have to convert him back into receiver, and possibly in college unless he gets a little bit taller, because Terry says this kid has the best hands you'll ever see on a high school football player.
Smith under center, and Gateway starts with 4 wide. The lone setback is Justin King, who went for 222 yards last year against Woodland Hills. They want to throw. Smith deep down the near sideline, and it's broken up. A great defensive play by Darren Walls for the Wolverines. Here's the lineups for Gateway. The backs and receivers, Justin King, Dan Lowe, Heidi the fullback, Lauren Seckley the tight end, the wideouts, John Ditto and David Williams. The O-line, Chris Hanna, Joe Jones, Mike Cornelius, Matt Hoey, and Paul Shelikoff. The rest of the lineups here in a mere moments. Aaron Smith on second down and 10 from his own 16. This time 3 wide receivers employed. Low Heidi the fullback. Out to the left in a slot position. They give it to King on the ground across the 20, 25, 30. Still on his feet. Justin King, one man to beat as he gets down to Woodland Hills 30, and nobody left to beat at this point. It's a touchdown on the second play from scrimmage for the Gateway Gators. It's the superstar Justin King.
Justin King doesn't disappoint. You know, there was so much preseason hype about this guy. Ranked in top 10 nationally, considered the best recruit come out of Western Pennsylvania since LeVar Arrington. That's a lot of praise to heap on a young kid, and he's lived up to it. Here you see him, you know, Justin has this explosiveness where he finds the hole and just explodes. You see him take off. There's one man to beat. Darren Walls does a great job of closing that gap, but you see John Ditto put a little touch on him, and he slips through there. Justin King, big-time play from a big-time player.
It's an 84-yard touchdown run on the second play from scrimmage. And we are only 19 seconds deep into this game. It's already 6-0. And the kicker for Gateway is Matt Lichtenstein, a 5'11 junior, 160 pounds. And he'll try to make it 7-0. Hold is down, the kick is up, and that kick is good. 11:41 left to go first quarter. Gateway draws first blood. They've got a 7-0 lead. It's really no surprise, Kevin Gorman. Justin King is the go-to guy. I guess the only surprise is maybe that they threw the football on first down, maybe just trying to give another look.
But that, you know, what that does is that opens up some things for Justin. You know, if they're going to, they said, you know, if they're going to try to load 8 guys in that box and they're going to gang up on Justin, we're going to make that defense honest, and that's what they did. They stretched them right away, opened things up, and then all of a sudden Justin's there, lone back, takes off. Big-time play from Justin. And that's, you know, what a great way for Gateway to start, because this is a game where a team comes out seeking revenge on you. If they get that stop on that first series and all of a sudden shut Justin King down, that builds their confidence, and maybe they start to think, hey, you know, this guy ran for 222 yards against us last year. He's not going to get anywhere near that this year. Well, he's already on his way. You know, he's got about a third of that. So, you know, Justin's doing his job so far.
On the flip side, George Novak's team right now in a hole for the first time this season. Granted, we're only in week 2, but they had no problem against Shaler, forcing 4 turnovers, winning 21-zip. So this is the first time in 2004 they have to face a deficit.
Sure, and that's, you know, something Woodland Hills, I think it was one of the things, the challenges they had to deal with last year was they were not used to playing from behind. They were the quick strike team. The Wolverines are used to being able to be on top and maintain a lead and kind of demoralize a team and wear them down. This year, you know, like last year, they're going to have to deal with coming from behind, and that's when you're going to see whether the Wolverines can pass the ball, whether they can move the sticks without relying on the run and without running out the clock in their fashion that they like to use, the way they like to do it.
The opening drive for Gateway, 2 plays, 84 yards. It was an 84-yard touchdown run by Justin King. Only 19 seconds running off the clock, so Woodland Hills will go on offense for the first time here tonight, trailing 7-0. Lichtenstein has it teed up at the 40, and he boots a high end-over-end one, angling near side. And it's taken there by Darren Wall. Reverses his field. Darren Wall with a seam across the 20, angling far side. Cuts it back upfield, and he's knocked down to the 42-yard line. Outstanding return for Darren Wall, the 6'1 junior. He was finally ushered down by Evan Iasso.
Well, Darren Walls may be next year's Justin King. He's a guy who's a very explosive player. You see the speed he just displayed there. He's a big-time cornerback. A lot of people think he's going to be the #1 prospect to come out of the junior class. He's also a tailback. You might see him coming out of there a little bit, and he's just a terrific athlete. You know, his dad was a big-time basketball player. You know, played at Peabody High School and went down to Waynesburg College and was the all-time leading scorer there. But Darren has decided to focus on football, and you can see why.
The quarterback is Mark Rosato for the Wolverines, 6'1" senior. 6 for 15 for 56 yards and a touchdown last week. And the give on first down is to Matt Griggs, and Griggs in a whole heap of trouble. Doesn't quite get back to the line of scrimmage. He was knocked down by Joe Martin. And the starting backs and receivers for Woodland Hills, Matt Griggs and Darren Walls in the backfield. The tight end, Jim Kelly, also a fine linebacker for this team. Wideouts, Tim Hall and Wes Lyons. Wes, the younger brother of Devin Lyons. O-line, Dan Kirk and Greg McClellan, John Del Sandro, Joe Drakulik, and Jay Migliozzi.
Well, you're going to see for the first time in a long time, this Woodland Hills team have a lot of guys go two platoon. That's something, a philosophy that George Novak kind of converted to because he said he wants his best players on the field.
Rosato on an end around to Terrence Johnson, nothing doing. He lost a couple of yards. It brings up 3rd and long. First man there for the Gateway defense, big Roberto Blanding, the nose tackle, 6 foot 284. Starting defense for this Gateway team, I mentioned Blanding. We'll talk more about him as the game goes on. D-line, Shelikoff, as you mentioned there, Blanding as well. Linebackers, Mike Barlack, I should say, Dan Loheide, also a member of that linebacking core. In the secondary, it's King, Martin Livesey, and Evan Iasso, who is another guy who plays both ways. He's a wide receiver for the Gateway offense. 3rd down and 12 football at the 39 for Woodland Hills. 2 wide, lone setback, Griggs play action. Rosato rolls out deep down the far sideline, got a man, and it's caught inside the 35, down to the 31-yard line of Wes Lyons, the 6'6" junior with a big 3rd down pickup for Woodland Hills.
And that's where you see that size and speed combination come into play. Mark Rosato, like you said, can throw on the run, roll out to the right, throws the Lions. Now that pass could have been slightly overthrown if he was 5'10" or 5'11", but a big 6'6" guy put it right there on the money. Wes Lyons comes up with a big play for the Wolverines.
I mentioned Rosato, 6 of 15 last week. Overall, the Woodland Hills offense threw the ball 19 times of their 48 plays. So not afraid to mix it up a little bit. Rosato on 1st and 10. It's fumbled in the backfield. And we'll wait for the official signal here, and they say that Woodland Hills did recover their own fumble. Ryan Burr down on the field. Ryan, what do you have for us?
Well, guys, an interesting aspect of this game that we've kind of dealt with all afternoon is cramping of the athletes. Justin King last week against Central Catholic had to leave with the cramps. In preparation of tonight, knowing it would be a very hot night here at Gateway, they've started him on fluids as early as Thursday. He's been taking extra fluids all the way up to game time, hoping tonight, he'll be able to go the whole way. Guys?
Ryan, thanks. 9.5 left in the first quarter. Gateway up 7-zip. 2nd down and long from the 34. They keep it on the ground. This time it's Darren Walls trying to pick his way through the pile. Gets down to the 30-yard line. Evan Iasso with the tackle for Gateway.
And Walls is a guy who can play a little bit of tailback. I think you're going to see a rotation here between he and Griggs. Griggs had the big game last week, but Walls is a guy who has that quickness, and he has a burst in the hole. He picks up a couple positive yards, which is what Woodland Hills needs right now, because it looks like they're going to have to turn to the pass again.
It'll be 3rd and long, 3rd and 9 to be specific. They've got some pretty good wide receivers, this Woodland Hills, with Wes Lyons, also Tim Hall, a short guy compared to Lyons, a foot shorter, 5'6" senior, also Terrence Johnson, John Edwell, Aaron Stuckey, and B.J. Hart. This time Hall and Johnson into the game, and Rosato in trouble, and down goes Mark Rosato back at his own 42. Justin Colbaugh, who had 3 sacks last year, with a big sack here in the first quarter.
Colbaugh is one of those underrated players. Look at him, 5'10", 194. He's one of the fastest players on the team. They have him playing the outside linebacker position. You're just going to see him come in on a straight blitz. Make a big play for the Gators.
Brings up a 4th down and 15. Clock running at 8:09 here in the first quarter. 7-0 game. And Woodland Hills to punt. It's Jim Kelly, who also plays linebacker and tight end for the Gators. Angles at far sideline. Down inside the 10. Still rolling. And it goes out of bounds at the 3-yard line. Good job by Jim Kelly. We need to take a break. 7:52 left to go in the first quarter. It's a 7-0 ball game. This is the Sports Fever Television Network on FSN Pittsburgh.
Get going in the morning with a quick stop at McDonald's? Try our sausage McGriddles, bacon, egg, and cheese McGriddles, or the sausage, egg, and cheese McGriddles.
McDonald's. The best way to start my day. I'm loving it.
The high school sports practice is back on Fox Sports Day. Join Rob Pratt and me, Tad McElwicky, for a 30-minute tour of high school highlights, features, and analysis. We cover the big sports like football and hoops, and the sports the other outlets just pass up, like hockey and tennis, cross country and golf. So let me get a hoorah. Say what? Every Sunday at 9, when Dick's Sporting Goods presents the high school sports practice, right here on Fox Sports Day.
7:52 left first quarter. Brent Stover, Kevin Gorman back at Gateway Stadium. Third and final game of the Pennsylvania Kickoff Classic. Gateway with their second possession. Aaron Smith, a shadow of his own goalpost, and they run it up the middle and get a couple of yards on first down. One of the big men up front is Matt Hoey, a 6'2", 272 senior for this Gateway offense. And visiting with head coach Terry Smith earlier this week, he said he's really an unsung hero, a guy that came to me in the offseason and said, Coach, I want to get better. I want to be a D1 guy. What do I need to do? And he totally recommitted himself, and now Coach Smith thinks, hey, this is a D1 prospect.
And I talked to Joe Butler from the Metro Index Scouting Service down in the press box earlier, and he was saying that Matt Hoey is one of the players, named a handful of them, but Matt Hoey is one of the players who was really on the rise after a big game last week. 14 pancake blocks against a good Central Catholic defense.
Justin King trying to get to the corner on second down. Flags all over the place. Couldn't turn the corner. Little or no gain. It'll bring up a third down, perhaps, but we'll wait to see what the penalty is. Sergio Brockington with a tackle for the Woodland Hills defense.
Illegal block in the back from behind by the offense. That penalty is declined. Third down.
So an illegal block in the back. It'll be third and long. And dangerous territory here for Gateway. You certainly don't want to turn it over. So do you go long here? Or do you just keep it on the ground and then got to get a good punt out of your punter?
I would think they're going to keep this one on the ground, try to get a few positive yards so they don't have to kick it from the end zone. But, at the same time, you see them lined up with two split left, and they have John Ditto, one-on-one coverage. He's, 6'4" guy to go against a 6'6" guy. Don't be surprised.
Keep it on the ground for King. This time he turns the corner, crosses the 15, gets to the sideline, and he gets the first down, most importantly, up near the 20-yard line. Good third down run by Justin King.
Well, that's what he's capable of. I mean, this guy has a chance every single time he touches the ball to take off and get you big-time positive yardage. You see two guys split to the left. They were decoys, open up the left side for Justin King, and he just splits out to the left side. Steps out of bounds, but he got the first down.
Justin King, 31 touchdowns last season, over 1,700 yards on the ground, but he's being recruited more as a defensive back than a running back, and every good college in America wants it. King on the ground again. Coming near side, nothing doing. He's picked up and knocked out at the 21-yard line. A pickup of maybe two. Jim Kelly, the linebacker, the middle linebacker for Woodland Hills with the tackle.
And Jim Kelly's the guy who made almost every tackle in that game last year. He was all over the field. They've played him at linebacker. They've had him play a free safety, or strong safety, excuse me. And, here they've done a great job of getting King outside, and then what they're doing right now is they're trying to cut him off and not give him much room to run.
Here's some schools that want King: Michigan, Penn State, Ohio State, Florida, Pitt, Southern Cal. Those are the teams that he's narrowed it down to. Not a bad list. Second down and 8, football to 21. 3 wide and a wing back to the left. They put it in the air. Smith, that into the flat, can't find his man. Looking for tight end Lauren Seckley, the 6'2 senior. But he misfires on the pass. It'll bring up third and long once again for Gateway.
And a lot of people think, getting back to Justin King, a lot of people think that it's a 2-horse race between Michigan and Penn State. Most people think that it's a lock for Michigan. I say Penn State's a lot more in the mix than you think. Tom Bradley's doing a terrific job recruiting Justin. He's getting several handwritten letters on a daily basis. But what the Nittany Lions really have to offer is a chance for early playing time, which is a crucial thing for Justin. And, they could use him in the defensive backfield. He could probably play both ways for them, and that's where Terry played. So Terry has a lot of influence over Justin, although he will not push him in Penn State's direction if he does not think the program is headed in the right direction.
And Terry Smith wants timeout. First timeout for Gateway. 5:53 left, opening quarter. Gateway a 7-0 lead, facing third and long. And the previous time they had third and long, they handed off to Justin King, and he got a nice first down pickup. We'll see what they do here. Coach Smith wants to talk it over. And that is George Novak, head man at Woodland Hills for the last 18 years. He's won 4 Whitfield titles there, and particularly in recent years, he has had dominating teams.
He really has, and it's because of the wealth of athletes that he's had. And, Justin King's a kid who came up in that Woodland Hills district, and they could have gone from Steve Bresson and Ryan Money to Devin Lyons to Justin King, and that succession would have continued right into that junior class with Darren Walls and Wes Lyons, but Justin King became the gateway for his freshman year, and you see the difference.
I'll tell you about Number One Day Automotive and the Monroeville Area Chamber of Commerce presenting a special Penn State Intercollegiate Athletics Luncheon on Friday, October 15th at 12 noon at the Weston Convention Center in Pittsburgh. Special guests include football coach Joe Paterno, basketball coaches Ed DeChellis and Rini Portland, plus the Penn State cheerleaders. For more information, call 412-856-0622 or log on to www.monroevillechapter.com. 3rd down and 8 for Aaron Smith in the Gateway offense with one back, and that is Justin King. And King gets the nod, and he has nothing. Stacked up in the backfield, brings up 4th and long after David Malloy absolutely blew through the O-line of Gateway to make the hit.
And Dave Malloy's a guy who, making that transformation from sophomore to junior year, you're going to see him make a big play here. He just breaks right through the line. King tries to spin off him, but there's nowhere to go. That's what Woodland Hills doing a great job gang tackling when they get the opportunity, when he's not in the open field. His brother Mark, big-time player for Woodland Hills a couple years ago, an All-State guy. He's now playing college football.
Lawrence Seckley, the tight end, will punt it away. Stands inside his own 5 on 4th and 11. 5:10 left here in the first quarter. 7-0 Gateway. Low snap, but he handles it and then shanks it off the right side of his foot. Out of bounds inside Gateway territory. Outstanding opportunity here with great field position for Woodland Hills. When we come back, 5:06 left in the first. 7-0 Gateway. This is the Sports Fever Television Network on FSN Pittsburgh.
Zoom back.
Man, is that kid okay?
Yeah, it's the shirt.
Yeah.
Ultimate protection, fit, form, comfort.
Totally cool. Call 1-800-759-4443 or visit us online at northeastsportsgroup.com.
PATtimes.com, putting you in touch with 17 championship golf courses throughout central and eastern Pennsylvania. PATtimes.com, a virtual hole-by-hole tour of each of our courses. The latest news, equipment discounts, individual instruction, and much, much more, including discounted stay-and-play packages. PATtimes.com, where you can book a tee time for tomorrow morning or find one up to 2 weeks in advance. Now is the time to look at outings for the 2005 season as well. PATtimes.com, where the game of golf puts the golfer first.
All right, here we go. 1st and 10 at the 42 of Gateway. And Woodland Hills with their second possession here of the first quarter with a wing back to the left, split receivers, and one setback. It's Darren Walls. And Mark Rosado keeps it on the ground for Walls. He's hit in the backfield, falls forward for maybe a yard on 1st down, brings up 2nd down and long after Joe Martin and Ryan Kwiatkowski made the tackle for Gateway. 4:47 and counting left first quarter, and we'll tell you about a special feature coming up at halftime. It's the Landro Play Analyzer. It's the game within the game. Stay tuned for that coming up at halftime of this Whitfield Showdown. 2nd down, 9, football at the 41 for the Woodland Hills offense. Rosado wants to throw on play action, rolls out again. Deep over the middle, he's got a man, but it's broken up. Outstanding defense by Evan Iasso to break up that 2nd down play.
Iasso did a great job there recovering because Wes Lyons had a few steps on him. As you see, Rosado throwing the rollout again, throws it, and Iasso makes a nice recovery and comes back and breaks that ball right up, knocks it out of Lyons' hands.
3rd down and long, and Iasso with some good closing speed there. Looked like the catch would be made, but Iasso was able to recover, knock it out of his hands. 3rd down and 9 at the 41. Mark Rosado with a wing back to the left. Walls in the backfield, play action again, in trouble, dumps it off. That's back Drake trying to shed a tackler. He cannot do so. A loss of 4. Ryan Kwiatkowski, who had 50 tackles last year, with his second here in the first quarter for the Gateway defense.
Well, Kwiatkowski gets overshadowed a little bit by Barlack and Lohheide in the linebacking core. But you see him make a great job here of shedding that tackle and forcing Griggs. You know, Griggs was trying to cut inside, keeps Griggs on the outside and gets him by the ankles, and he has nowhere to go.
6'2 senior, 237 for Kwiatkowski. That's a mouthful. A punt for Woodland Hills here. It's Jim Kelly. His second punt of the first quarter, no rush. And he gets it away, a low spiral. Justin King plays it out a hop on his 10. At the 20, King to the outside, 30. And he's knocked out of bounds right there. One of the special teams players for Woodland Hills, and we might have a late hit here on one of the Woodland Hills special teams players. We'll wait to see what the penalty here is. 7-0, 3.5 left here in the first quarter, and Gateway to go back on offense. So Justin King with a 21-yard return, tack on 15 more, and check out the penalty here on the replay.
You see, that was a very late hit there by junior Greg Webster. King had actually come up to a trot. He had run out of bounds already, slowed up, and Webster just makes a play that I'm sure is not going to sit too well with Coach Novak. It's one thing to have to deal with Justin King. It's another thing to give him an extra 15 yards on a return. So I'm sure, that's not something they're real pleased with.
Instead of 1st and 10 at the 28, it's 1st and 10 at the 43. Gateway already up a touchdown. They spread the field this time. King the lone setback. Option right. Aaron Smith keeps it himself. Cuts it upfield. Breaks the tackle. He's at the 30, the 20, and nobody's going to get quarterback Aaron Smith. It's a Gateway touchdown.
Well, it must run in the family. Aaron Smith and Justin King, cousins by marriage, not necessarily by blood, but that's Harvey Smith's son, and he just did a great job right there. 57-yard run, springs one. Really did a great job of selling it. Looked like he was going to fake it, and really selling that fake. And then when everybody else bit, you can see right here, everybody's keying on Justin King, and for good reason. But Aaron Smith finds a seam, and when he takes off, there's no catching him. I mean, you see a couple of guys trying to arm tackle him. That's just not going to work.
Aaron Smith, a converted wide receiver. Head coach Terry Smith telling us that he'll be a wideout in college. And for the extra point, it's Lichtenstein, and he boots it through. He's a good kicker, by the way. 14-0. It's 3:17 left in our opening quarter. And if you're Woodland Hills and head coach George Novak, the first time this season, not only are you behind in a game, but you're down by 2 touchdowns, and so far not much offensively from the Wolverines.
No, that's where, Woodland Hills has had to change its philosophy as far as the two platoon, as I was saying earlier. They're also going to have to embrace the pass a little more than they're used to. They've had such dominant running backs in the past with the, big line that's been able to push people around, and then you'd be able to take advantage of the athletes when you have guys like Steve Breston, back there running the ball. Here's a quarterback just taking off whenever he wanted. That was a luxury that not too many teams have, and that's one that Woodland Hills no longer has. So they're going to have to earn those yards. But I think you saw them go a couple times to West Lines. I think they're really going to have to open up the passing attack a little bit, and then maybe get the running game back. They've had some big-time receivers, so they do know how to throw the ball. You remember Ryan Mundy and Devin Lyon. They have some guys that have been able to catch the ball, so it's not something Woodland Hills isn't capable of.
Let's head back down to Ryan Burr. Ryan?
Hey, guys, interesting listening to the Woodland Hills coaches over on the sidelines. As Kevin talked about, they've had this kind of player. They've had this kind of team speed before with the Stevie Prestons of the world. Now they're playing against it. What they continue to urge to their players is do not over-pursue. And really on both touchdowns, what has happened is the defense is over-pursued, so worried about that flat speed. When the cutback has occurred, there's been nobody left at home to make the tackle.
Thank you, Ryan. Tim Hall takes it his own 5 and gets blown up at the 16-yard line. Fine special teams play by Justin Colbaugh, and this time Woodland Hills not with good field position.
And that, talk about that over pursuing. That's one thing that Gateway picked up on. Justin told me, I said, what was the secret to having that big 222-yard game last year? And he said, we saw on film just how they fly to the ball. He said, but they're coming so fast. And you're going to see, some speed here on a big hit from Gateway.
Justin Colbaugh, 44 tackles, 3 sacks last year. Outstanding defender. He's a linebacker for the Gateway defense, but you like it when guys like that can play special teams as well.
Sure do. But when Gateway, Woodland Hills was coming so fast, like you were saying, they were over pursuing, and Gateway realized, hey, let's stop and use those cutback lanes and take advantage of this.
Matt Gregg's nothing doing, stacked up by 4 Gateway defenders. First man there, Jordan Stevens, 6'4", 228 junior.
And he's another big-time player on that defense. A big guy at defensive end. He made a lot of big plays last week. They have so many good defensive players that you don't hear as much about a guy like Stevens or guys like Kwiatkowski and Blanding, because they're overshadowed by the stars. But this is a guy, he's going to be a big-time college prospect. If he puts on 20 pounds, 6'4", 248 is a great size for a defensive end, especially when he can run.
A couple more good guys across that front line. Roberto Blanding, Paul Shelikoff. Second down, 11 at the 16. They fake the pitch, and it's an inside handoff, and again, nothing for the Woodland Hills running game. Darren Walls trying to find daylight, but the Gateway defense was not surprised with that play. 2:16 left opening quarter. Gateway an early 14-0 lead. Justin King has certainly established his presence. Aaron Smith, same thing for him. Each of those two players, who are related to head coach Terry Smith, have scored a touchdown here in the early going.
I think one of the things you're going to have to see is this Woodland Hills, they're going to have to try to, use some willpower up there up front and try to move that line back.
And a timeout here. Woodland Hills wants to talk things over. Under 2 minutes to go here, first quarter. Woodland Hills down by 2 touchdowns. Facing a 3rd and long from their own 15. A 3rd and 12 for the Wolverine offense. We talked about some of the guys they lost. Overall offense and defense. George Novak's team bringing back only 7 starters from last year. That's awfully tough to bounce back from.
Especially, like we said earlier, when they're big-time players. Stephen Brinson, the running back, is now at Pitt. Devin Lyons is now at Ohio State. The fullback, Joe McDaniel, went to Akron as a tailback. That tells you how good their backfield is when you can have a guy good enough to play tailback, has to play fullback in your offense.
Let's talk about Sports Fever's top 10 now. St. Joe's Prep, who lost earlier today. He's now 0-1. They are ranked number 1. Central Catholic number 2, but a big win by Central Catholic over St. Joe's Prep. So you figure that'll change next week. Gateway 3, followed by North Penn, Penn Ridge, Parkland, Penn Hills, Harrisburg, Woodland Hills, and North Hills. 3rd down, 12 to 15 from Mark Rosato, the senior. Takes the handoff, rolls out. Deep over the middle, he's got Wes Lyons, but Lyons falls in double coverage and a flag. We got pass interference against the Gateway defender. Probably going to go against Justin King.
The big question there was, did Justin King actually bump him, or was that just a matter of incidental contact? You're going to see here on the replay that Justin King did make contact, and that's all you really need. If you make contact, regardless of whether you're right or you're wrong, King did have the inside lane, but when you knock down the receiver, the flag is going to come flying, whether you did it intentionally or not.
So the officials will mark this one off. And it'll be a first down for Woodland Hills. Good break for this Wolverine offense, which certainly needed one. Down by a pair of touchdowns here with under 2 to go in the first quarter.
And you see Terry Smith looks like he's arguing that call a little bit. One of the things, a lot of times the big-time players, a lot of people think they get the benefit of the doubt from the officials. The other side of it is that sometimes they're so good that the officials aren't used to seeing guys with that capability be able to get the inside lane on a receiver like that and be able to make the big-time play. Sometimes the flag comes flying because the officials aren't used to that kind of talent.
Matt Griggs gets stacked up in the backfield. No gain on first down after they picked up a 15-yard penalty. Roberto Blanding and Jordan Stevens, first 2 men there for the Gateway defense. The running game for Woodland Hills has been relatively non-existent here on their first few drives of the ball game.
And that's what's unusual. This is a Woodland Hills team that is so used to just being able to overpower teams and to just, demoralize them as they move the ball up and down the field at will. And they've always had a big-time back. We've really yet to see whether Matt Griggs can break one or not because he hasn't had much room to run. So it's not fair to assess, whether he's doing his job. We'll find out real soon.
Rosato gets his pass intercepted. Dan Loheide, the linebacker, falling back into coverage with a big interception and a costly mistake for Woodland Hills quarterback Mark Rosato. Dan Loheide, who plays fullback and linebacker, with an outstanding job in coverage that time, Kevin.
Well, the pass for one was thrown behind Greg Webster, the tight end. But Dan Loheide, he's in perfect position. He made an interception last week against Central. He makes another one. That's 2 for a linebacker. You know, he's probably leading the team in interceptions. I can guarantee he is. You know, whether he keeps this pace up for the whole season remains to be seen. But you know, that's Rosado rolls to his right. He likes to roll to his right. I think you could see Gateway has now made some adjustments and is preparing for that pass to come across his body.
Charles King, John Ditto, the wideouts on first down. Gateway at the 38-yard line of Woodland Hills. They want to throw. Aaron Smith deep, and he's got a wide open man. It's John Ditto with an outstanding diving catch down to the 1-yard line.
What a huge play by John Ditto. He had a huge catch last week as well against Central, opened up the offense for Gateway. But here you see here, this kid is a 6'4" sophomore. He might be one of the best sophomores in the Whitfield. You know, it's so early to say, but you see here's a guy who's a big guy, great big target, and he can really run, put some distance between himself and the corner. And then the only reason he's down is because once that knee hits in the ground and high school rolls, you're down, and he hits there. Even his momentum carries him in the end zone. It's going to be down at the 1. So he cost himself a touchdown, but it looks like he set one up for the Gators.
That's as fine a catch as you will see. Loaded backfield with 30 ticks left first quarter. First and goal. They give it to King. King goes into the end zone, virtually untouched for Gateway's 3rd touchdown of the first quarter. It's 20-0 Gators.
Well, even though the Woodland Hills, so you know, if you want to call it the dynasty, I hate to say that the dynasty ended with one loss, but the Woodland Hills having that 39-game streak snapped last year. You see King just kind of glide through there. He really didn't even have to make any much of a break there. But I don't think anybody expected to see Gateway jump out on them again this year, quite the way that they have. But it proves to you, you know, you saw those PA Sports Fever rankings. St. Joe's, you can kind of throw them out, not just because of the loss, but because they're not members of the PIAA.
The extra point is blocked by Woodland Hills. Lichtenstein had his extra point blocked by Darren Walls, the 6'1 junior, busting through there to bust up the play. But still, Gateway with a 20-0 lead with 27 seconds left here in our opening quarter. Ryan Burr, what do you have for us?
Well, guys, interesting you talk about those rankings, and I think what we can take away from today, especially with another lopsided game, is, wow, the WPIL has a lot of really good teams. You see what Central Catholic did to St. Joe Prep, and then you see what Gateway and Central Catholic did last week. That's a question I have for Kevin. You know, Central Catholic now will probably be ranked in the top 10 in America, and I've heard you say, Kevin, that you thought Gateway could beat them last week. Is Gateway that caliber of squad?
Well, they certainly are. You know, they have a big-time player in Justin King, but they have a very, very good team. You know, this is not a one-man show by any means. This is a team that I talked to Chris Lawler from USA Today this week, and I asked him, you know, would Gateway have been in your rankings had they not opened up with a loss against Central? And he said they very well would have been in the regional rankings and very possibly could have been in the national rankings. You know, in Central, they started the rankings ranked 16th, which might have been a bit low considering what they did last year and what they had coming back. So Central, had they started in the top 10 or even, you know, in the top 5, they might have had a chance at a national championship. That's going to take a lot of teams across the country to lose games this year for Central to get that high. But Central is obviously one of the elite teams, and Gateway gave them their money's worth last year, so that tells you how good Gateway is.
Lichtenstein tees it up at the 40-yard line. The deep man is Terrence Johnson for Woodland Hills. They could use a big play here, perhaps on special teams. This one is taken inside the 5-yard line, across the 15, and breaking tackles is Tim Hall, and he gets out near the 24-yard line for Woodland Hills, and that's where they start their next possession, down by 3 touchdowns. Luis Cacharo, the man to make the tackle on special teams. 21 seconds left opening quarter, 20-0 Gateway. And just to add to what you guys were saying about Central Catholic, that quarterback Shane Murray, you know, maybe coming into the year wasn't thought of as a D1 prospect, but I think maybe he is at this point.
I think it's just a matter of which side of the ball you want him on. You know, I think he's a big-time safety. I think, you know, he has a slight build, but he's all muscle, and he can really run. I think, you know, you look at a guy like him, whether he decides he wants to play offense or defense, that may dictate what kind of school comes after him. But, you know, after the first 2 games that he's had, he's got a chance to go to a big-time program. If somebody hasn't offered him a Division I scholarship at this point, if they see this game on TV that he just played, there's a very good chance that one of the offers will be coming in. And once you get one, it's like opening the floodgates.
Greg's a couple of yards on first down, but once again, that swarming defense for Terry Smith strikes again. We have reached the end of the first quarter. It's been all Gateway. The home team leading Woodland Hills 20-0. We head for the second quarter after this. This is the Sports Fever Television Network on FSN Pittsburgh.
Forbes Regional Hospital. We're more than just convenient.
Discover Monroeville, the more choice location. Easy to reach just off CA Turnpike exit 57. With over 1,500 affordable hotel rooms for business and pleasure and just minutes away from downtown Pittsburgh. Monroeville with hundreds of specialty stores, outlets, enclosed malls, and the Expo Mart, making it a true Western PA destination point. Monroeville, rich in history, rich in tradition. The Monroeville Visitors and Convention Bureau is eager to help. Monroeville, Western Pennsylvania's more choice location.
I'm worried about Eric hanging out with the wrong crowd. Staying out too late, going to parties where no adults are present. So for Eric's graduation, we figured we'd have a party here. So the kids could drink, have a good time, sleep over. We'd know where they were. It seemed like a sensible thing to do at the time.
We were on a wireless family talk plan. Imagine worrying about overage charges for 4 people.
Hi, Mom.
Give me the phone. Get off the phone. How long have you been on?
Dad.
So they stopped talking to me.
Add a line for just $9.99 on Singular Family Talk. Call family and all Singular customers nationwide for no extra charge. Plus, get great deals on phones.
I call it my, no, it's okay, don't hang up plan.
Add a line for $9.99. Another reason Singular fits you best.
Brent Stover, Kevin Gorman, and Ryan Burr back at Gateway Stadium, third and final game of the Pennsylvania Kickoff Classic. And at halftime, we feature the game within the game. It's the Landro Play Analyzer. You will not believe it. That is coming up at halftime. Stay tuned for that. We'll start the second quarter, and we've got a turnover. And it's Gateway running the other way. And inside the 5 and scoring a touchdown for Gateway is number 33, Mike Barlack, their top defender. A big-time turnover.
Well, you're going to see Mike Barlack get to enjoy the celebration, but Justin Colbaugh made that play. What a great defensive effort on his side. Not only did he run down Mark Rosado from behind, but you saw him do a little karate chop, strip the ball. You're going to see the play here. Justin Colbaugh comes in great pursuit. A little karate chop, strips the ball, and it bounces right into Mark Barlack's hands. And like we said, he got his knees scoped. Hey, coaches, this guy's ready. He's fit to go. Look at that 4.6 second speed, and he's going to do a little dance right into the end zone. Now you see 26-0, just seconds into the second quarter.
Mike Barlack with a big return, 29 yards officially on the fumble return for a touchdown, and it's 26-zip. And we've got flags all over the place. The officials will tell us what the violation is.
Men on the field. Half the distance penalty on the drive.
So a half the distance to the goal penalty. And Gateway, they change their personnel here. They will go for 2. Justin King checks into the game. Kicker Lichtenstein comes off. Illegal substitution penalty on Woodland Hills, so half the distance to the goal.
Not only is this a great tactical decision by Gateways, you know, after having had 1 extra point blocked, but this shows a matter of respect for Woodland Hills. They're not going to just say, hey, you know, we're going to take it easy on these guys because we know that we're up by 26 points. They know what Woodland Hills is capable of.
And the give is to King, and he dives over the pile. Did he get in? Yes, he did. Touchdown. I should say 2-point conversion, Justin King. He's got 2 touchdowns so far, and now this 2-point conversion, and it's 28-0. Gateway has opened up a 4-touchdown lead on Woodland Hills. We mentioned at the outset of the broadcast that Gateway had beaten Woodland Hills for the first time since 1988. That was last year, a 26-12 victory. And coming into that game, Woodland Hills had won 39 straight regular season games. So you figured coming in to this one tonight, George Novak's team would be pretty fired up trying to redeem themselves from last year. But so far, it has been all Gators. Look at the yardage numbers right there.
Oh, that's been, you know, that 84-yard run by Justin King and a 57-yard run by Aaron Smith kind of beef up those rushing totals. But also, you have a big pass play. So far, that's three big plays, 84, 57, 61 yards. Those are three big plays. That tells you the whole thing right there. Another 33-yard play. As far as these teams going head-to-head, with you subtract those plays, and this is a relatively even game, but you can't subtract those plays. That's the difference, is when you have one team that has explosive nature like Gateway, you have to be prepared for them to make the big plays, and you have to try to either stop or at least contain them from making those big plays. And that right now is the difference between these teams.
Only 12 seconds deep into the second quarter. Gateway leading 28-0. And Lichtenstein to tee it up. Lichtenstein has been awfully busy here. Deep man is Tim Hall, along with Terrence Johnson. Also back there is Darren Walls, the junior. Wolverines in a whole heap of trouble here, and now an official's timeout. Ball fell off the tee. They'll tee it up again, and Will Lichtenstein. Terry Smith told me on the phone earlier this week, very confident in his kicker, Matt Lichtenstein, 5'11 junior.
He's a guy who's been kicking for the Gators. This is his third season as the kicker. So he's been in some pressure situations, especially his freshman year.
It's a good one right there. Hall takes it at the goal line, and Hall's going to have to bring it out. Crosses the 10, has a crease. 25, and he's knocked down at the 26-yard line. Louis Cacharo, another special teams tackle for Gateway. It'll be first down 10 from the 26 for the Woodland Hills offense. Down by 4 touchdowns, Kevin.
Well, this is when we're going to find out whether Woodland Hills can deal with some adversity early in the season. This is a young team, a lot of new starters on the team. They're going to have to try to come back. And this is right now, this is when you have to talk to these kids about keeping your head up and let's play. Let's show some Woodland Hills pride, because they're not used to being down like this. Even when they've lost, they haven't lost this bad. So this is a new territory for Woodland Hills, and this is when they're really going to have to show some fortitude.
Wes Lyons, the wide out to the left, had a big catch early on. See if they go to him. Mark Rosado wants to throw, looks that way. He's got Lyons. But Lyons can't get out of the grasp of Evan Iasso. He did pick up about 5 yards, so halfway to that first down marker. It'll bring up second down for Woodland Hills.
And that's what you need to do. You need to get the confidence back. You need to get a short gain, whether it's just a couple of yards or not. You don't have to go for the big strike play, because sometimes that's what ends up biting you in the back when you have a fumble recovery like you did on the last series. But, let's move the ball, let's move the chains, and see if we can get some momentum back on our side. Is probably what George Novak is thinking right now.
A pickup of 6 for Lions on first down. Second down and 4 at the 34. A minute deep into the second quarter. This time they go on the ground for Griggs. Griggs sheds a tackler, gets the first down and a couple more before he's knocked down right around the 40-yard line. Let's talk about this Gateway defense so far, Kevin. I'll tell you, we've talked a lot about the offense. 4 touchdowns. King has obviously been outstanding. So too for Aaron Smith. Big catch, John Ditto. But what about the defense?
Well, it's hard when people talk about Justin King on offense to focus on the defense, but look at the way they were swarming to the ball. They're in pursuit on the pass every play. You get a big interception from Lohheide. You get a nice fumble recovery. On this play here, Justin Kulba makes the strip. Mike Barlack picks it up and goes to the distance for a touchdown. So, when your defense is doing half the work for you, it gives your offense a chance to rest.
Darren Walls, a couple of yards on first down, made something out of nothing, had a spin out of a tackle in the backfield, picked up 2, maybe 3 yards on the first down. Woodland Hills here being very patient, still early, but down 28-0, puts a lot of pressure on the offense. Maybe takes you out of your game plan a little bit.
Well, they're certainly out of their game plan, because I can tell you George Novak likes to run the ball for the sake that it's the least amount of mistakes can happen when you run the ball. But now they're going to have to really mix it up and try to balance that offense as much as possible.
Walls gets the call on second down, gets it across the 45 before he's knocked down by Roberto Blanding and Dan Lohheide. It'll bring up third down and short from the 46-yard line for Woodland Hills. And how much, Kevin, isn't it an advantage for the Gators to be playing this game at home? It is a kickoff classic, but it's at home for the Gators, the only team that they had to play in their home stadium.
It really isn't, and well, the one thing it does is it guarantees a West sweep, of course, because this is an all-West game, and we've already had the first 2 winners. But last year, they had to play at East Allegheny High School because Gateway Stadium was not completed, the press box was not done. And, so this is a nice thing for them to be able to play, although I'm sure Woodland Hills doesn't like the fact that they've had to have back-to-back home games against, Gateway, even though they're not at the same place. It's still the atmosphere. It's still, a matter of what kind of uniforms you're wearing and all those types of things. And, and there's no place quite like the Wolverine as far as terms of going into, as a visitor, going into another stadium and having to deal with that kind of a crowd and that kind of an atmosphere. I mean, Woodland Hills really, really thrives at playing at home.
Woodland Hills did get some yardage, but not enough. A couple of yards on a third down carry to Matt Griggs, but on 4th and 1, Jim Kelly into punt. It's a fake, and the up man takes it. That's Darren Walls. Did he get the first down? Yes, he did. Darren Walls, the up man, took the snap, got the first down. A little bit of trickery for George Novak. It pays off, Kevin.
And he's not known for it, but this is when you find out what kind of a coach a guy like George Novak is. So many people could say, well, look at the success he's had, but look at the players he's had to coach. Well, George Novak knows the game. There's a reason they had this kind of success, because they have a good coach running the way. And he, direct snap right to Darren Walls. He picks up the first down. They said, hey, no matter what means we have to do, we're going to get it done.
He got it, but just barely, and now we will have a measurement. By looking at our replay, it looked like he did get it by a couple of feet, but they come out to measure anyway. Woodland Hills down 28-0, 8:25 left here before halftime. And again, the Landro Play Analyzer will be featured at halftime, the game within the game. Looking forward to that. Well, they didn't get it. The officials say his knee was down before he got to the first down marker. So Darren Walls comes up short, and they turn the ball back over to Gateway's offense, which has been dominant so far in the first half. 8:25 left before our halftime break. 28-0. It's the Sports Fever Television Network on FSN Pittsburgh.
During Day Automotive's 25th anniversary sale, lease a car for less than you could 25 years ago. At Day Volkswagen in Monroeville, get a new 04 Jetta GL for only $179 a month. Better hurry.
At Day Automotive, it's gonna make your day.
It's the shirt. Yeah. Ultimate protection, fit, form, comfort.
Totally cool. Call 1-800-759-4443 or visit us online at northeastsportsgroup.com.
High school football is brought to you by the PA Turnpike and Easy Pass, the convenient way to pay tolls without fumbling for change or tickets. To join, call toll-free at 877-736-6727 or visit on the web at www.paturnpike.com.
Back at Gateway Stadium, Woodland Hills on a 4th and 1 tried the fake punt, came up short, Kevin.
Well, Woodland Hills is not known for its trickery, but you see the direct snap right to Darren Walls. Gateway's prepared for it. Mike Barlett comes up with another big play right there. Stops him just short, and that's something, Woodland Hills at least took the chance.
1st and 10 for Gateway at the 49 of Woodland Hills. Man in motion, it's Charles King, and this play gets blown dead. And the officials will confer. Let's head down to the sideline, Ryan Burr. Ryan.
Now, Brent, you and Kevin have been discussing how Woodland Hills will try to attack this 28-point deficit, or they try to throw more like you would speculate. Now, not so fast. Head coach Novak says that, they're a running football team, and whether the score is 28-0 or 56-0, that's how they are best suited to move the football. They haven't done much with the run today, but I would not expect an all-aerial assault from Woodland Hills. It's just not what they like to do.
All right, Ryan.
And George Novak has a good reason for that, Brent. One of the things he looks at is there's more things that could go wrong on a pass play than there can on a run play.
Speaking of things going wrong, that one did go wrong on a running play. Justin King gets blown up by Jeremy Edwards, a 5'11 senior, and a big loss on first down for Gateway. Your point, Kevin.
And George, if you play a conservative style, you might want to call it conservative, you might want to call it just playing smart. But, if you look at what they've done today, every time they've tried to pass, with the exception of a couple big plays to West Lions, they have one interception to Low-Heidi, and they have a fumble, caused by Colbaugh and recovered by Mike Barlak, and they both led to touchdowns. So, there's 14 points in the difference of this game.
Second down and 21. They'll go to the ground. Getting the call is King. Sheds one tackler, turns the corner. Crosses midfield, finally knocked out of bounds at the 45 of Woodland Hills. But a good second down pickup. West Lions finally able to knock out Justin King after a big pickup.
That's what Justin King. You see one play he gets dropped for a big loss. The next play just bounces right out to the outside. He has such quick feet, and he has such a nice stop and start speed where he can plant, put a little move on somebody, and when he accelerates, there's no catching him.
Third down, 7 at the 46 of Woodland Hills. Aaron Smith employs 2 wide receivers and a wing back to the left. Keep it on the ground with King, trying the left side, cuts it upfield, and gets down inside the 40, right near the first down. And I believe Justin King just picked up a first down on a 3rd and 7 play. Indeed, it is a first down for Justin King, and that's one luxury for Terry Smith, even on 3rd and long. Not afraid to keep it on the ground because King picks it up in big chunks.
Well, I think the most underrated aspect about Justin King is his vision. He has the patience to wait for the holes to develop, and he has the vision to, once he finds that seam, and then he has acceleration to take off. So, I think, you can put a guy out there with speed, and we've seen some speed merchants the last couple of years in the Whippeal, but it takes a guy who's a complete package, and Justin said, it's not just my vision, it's my ability to study film and know what's going to happen, to understand their tendencies.
King turns it upfield and gets down inside the 30 before he's tripped up by Darren Walls. Flag on the play. Good first down run by King. But this one might be coming back. Just under 7 minutes left in our second quarter, 28-0. And it is a penalty on the offense. And that fine run by King will come back. So it's an illegal formation on the Gateway offense. Bring up first down and 15 from the 43. So if you're Gateway, well, you'd like to be able to work on your passing game a little bit, but at 28-0, you really don't want to try to run things up on George Novak's team.
No, you certainly do. You don't want to run up the score because, for one, there's a lot of respect between these teams as far as, mutual respect for each other and their capabilities. But, they also don't want to create any bad blood between a rivalry. You're up 28-0. Just run the clock and try to get this half over as fast as you can. And show some respect to the defense. But, Terry Smith also, he's not going to take Woodland Hills lightly. So don't be surprised if you see a pass here and there.
David Malloy, Greg Webster, a nice hit on Justin King. No gain on first down. It'll bring up second down and long. Barlack into the game for the Gateway offense. Coach Novak, not what he had in mind. They forced 4 turnovers against Shaler last week, won 21-zip. Gateway lost to Central Catholic. What a couple of games out of the gate for Gateway. Central Catholic and now Woodland Hills. Second down 15 for Aaron Smith's offense. And it's King getting the call. King down inside the 35 to the 33-yard line.
Well, I said before the season, the one thing you have to take into consideration is the schedule of both Gateway and Central Catholic, and that, they're playing each other in week 1, so one of them was going to come out with a loss. But, who they had in week 2 with Gateway playing Woodland Hills, Central playing St. Joseph Prep, either one of those teams could have started the season 0-2 or 1-1. And they still might have been the best team in the Whippeal, is the point I was trying to make before the season, just because of who they played. But if you look back at St. Joseph Prep, one of the things their coach Gil Brooks told me was that, we have the 35-game winning streak, but it started with 3 losses back in 2001. And so, I think what it does is when you tell your kids, hey, let's play the best, and you're going to become the best.
On third down, Smith wants to throw, but he tucks and runs for the first down marker. And he got it. Aaron Smith with a third down pickup. And even when the coverage is good by the Woodland Hills secondary, still positive yardage for the Gateway offense. And once again, they move the chains now down to the 26-yard line of the Wolverines.
And the funny thing about Aaron Smith, they talked when he had to replace Morty Ivy, you had a guy who kind of for 2,000 yards last year in Morty Ivy. Aaron Smith is more of a pure passer than Morty was. But Morty was known for his ability to run the option. Here's Aaron doing a nice job, selling a play-action fake and then taking off. He had a nice big 57-yard run. Now it's a nice run to pick up the first down.
First down again, and this play gets blown dead. And you figure this one goes against Gateway as well. Few too many penalties for Coach Smith. Of course, head coach is never completely happy. Maybe that's something he'll talk about at halftime.
Ball started by the offense. 5-yard penalty. Remains first down.
Ball start, will be first down and 15. You mentioned Morty Ivy. What a career he had. You talked about some of the numbers, and now he's a guy out of West Virginia, accounted for 2,000 yards of offense. I mean, putting that in perspective, it's awfully hard to accomplish a number like that.
And certainly, you know, the most impressive thing is I believe he threw 19 touchdown passes and no interceptions. And some people have said, you know, Aaron Smith is a more accurate passer. Well, how more accurate can you get when you don't give up any, you know, when you don't throw any interceptions, you don't cause any turnovers? You know, Morty Ivy was one of the best players in the Whitfield last year. And, you know, that senior class that came through Gateway, Terry Smith credits them for turning this thing around. You know, they went from not making the playoffs for a long time, over a decade, to now, you know, being one of the elite teams in the Whitfield. And that was the class that really bought into what Terry Smith was trying to sell here, a matter of discipline and structure, and, you know, taking that athletic prowess that they have and turn it into, you know, into a positive.
In 2 seasons at the helm, Terry Smith with a record of 18-6. 14-0 in conference play. Second down and 18. The football rests at the 34. 3:40 and counting left before halftime. Smith to throw, and again it's blown dead. And again, probably a penalty against Gateway. I believe it will be something Coach Smith addresses at halftime. And we'll see what this call is.
Snap. Delay the game by the offense. 5-yard penalty. Remains second down.
Delay of game penalty. So Gateway with 3 costly penalties. Dead ball penalties on this drive. It's second down and 23. Move it back to the 39-yard line of Woodland Hills. 4 penalties for 20 yards for Gateway, 2 for 16 yards for Woodland Hills. And they'll run it with Justin King, trying to get to the outside. King turns it up and gets down to the 36. A lot of running for a 3-yard gain. That'll bring up third down and 20 for Gateway.
And Woodland Hills' defense has done actually a pretty nice job of keeping Justin King in check since the 84-yard run. He's had a couple big runs. He had, you know, the 1-yard touchdown run for the score. He also had runs of 12 and 14 yards. But other than that, you know, they've had 2 or 3 carries where they've been for negative yardage. And, you know, he's only has 126 yards prior to that play. So, you know, for a guy who's an 84-yard run, they've done a pretty good job against him.
Third down and 18 for Aaron Smith with 3 wide. He's going to throw it. He's in trouble. Screen pass King with nothing but green in front of him. 25, inside the 20, inside the 15. And Justin King with 1 man to beat. He beats him to the far pylon for a Gateway touchdown. Third of the first half for Justin King. It's 34-0 Gators.
Well, perhaps I spoke too soon, Brent. You know, one minute after I say that Justin King has been held in check by the Woodland Hills defense, you know, they say, okay, well, you know, if you're going to stop him by run, we'll see what he can do on a pass play. And you see, you know, another nice job by Aaron Smith getting the ball out to King in the flat, and this is where he's really dangerous, is in the open field. Not only does he have the great straight-ahead speed, but you see the hip movement that he has there. He has some wiggle to him, and he's able to outrun Darren Walls, who's one of the fastest guys on the field as well. So, you know, Justin King has just put on a performance today. What a show he's had so far.
A 36-yard touchdown reception. By the way, 3 touchdowns and a 2-point conversion. Lichtenstein misses the extra point here, so it remains 34-zip. 2:42 left in the second quarter. Gateway has opened it up. 34-0 on Woodland Hills. This is the Sports Fever Television Network on FSN Pittsburgh.
The high school sports practice is back on Fox Sports Day. Join Rob Pratt and me, Tad McElwicky, for a 30-minute tour of high school highlights, features, and analysis. We cover the big sports like football and hoops, and the sports the other outlets just pass up, like hockey and tennis, cross country and golf. So let me get a hoorah. Say what? Every Sunday at 9, when Dick's Sporting Goods presents the high school sports practice, right here on Fox Sports Day.
Athletes Fitness of Penn Hills and Monroeville is now open to everyone. Athletes Fitness, the trainers of local student athletes, now offers its facilities to the public with yoga, Pilates, and hip-hop aerobics. Come work out with us. Take advantage of our indoor track, free weights, cardio and circuit equipment, as well as our personal trainers. Athletes Fitness, with facilities in Penn Hills and the Monroeville Sports Center. Winners train here. Call 412-856-1180.
All Gateway in the first half, thanks in large part to that man, Justin King, the senior D-back and a running back. 3 touchdowns and a 2-point conversion. We're not quite, Kevin, at the mercy rule, but we're awfully close.
And that's, it's really interesting to see someone, ask Woodland Hills to call for mercy because it's something unusual. But you see the mercy rule when the second half, if a team's up by 35 points, the clock runs continuously. The only time it stops is if you call a timeout. Until, so that's something that gets the game over a little bit faster. But, Woodland Hills is usually on the delivering end of the mercy rule. This will be a first for for me to see them go on the other side of it if it does happen. So it just tells you about what a terrific job Gateway is doing this evening.
Terrence King on the return gets it out to 22. 2.5 left here before halftime. 34-0. So right now we are 1 point short of the mercy rule. Woodland Hills would like to save some face here and perhaps somehow get back into this contest. Ryan down on the sideline talked earlier about Coach Novak, and a guy that probably wouldn't change his game plan a whole lot, even though he's down by a wide margin. First and 10 at the 22 for Mark Rosato. Lone setback Griggs. He gets the call. Sheds a tackler, but can't get out of the grasp of about 4 more Gateway defenders. He loses a couple on first down. Ryan Kwiatkowski, who's been all over the place in this first half, made the tackle.
Well, when you see a guy like Justin King on the field, he's one of those players, every time he touches the ball, you kind of hold your breath and wait to see what happens. And Woodland Hills had a guy like that in Steve Bresson, who's just a breathtaking player. He just lit up teams. The big play in the Whitfield Championship game against Central when he was a senior. He just took off down the sideline at Heinz Field and ran for a touchdown. And that's kind of what you saw here with Justin King, that very first play. Sometimes that's the kind of thing that can maybe take your heart and make you wonder, can we keep up with a guy like this?
Rosato on second down gets sacked and loses the football. And we'll see who recovered it. It appears that Woodland Hills was able to recover the fumble, but Rosato in a whole heap of trouble. It's taken down. Roberto Blanding making the sack for the Gateway defense, which maybe hasn't gotten enough credit here in the first half because that offense has been so tremendous.
And Roberto Blanding does a great job just now. He doesn't really get a chance to wrap him up, but he grabs him by the jersey and sets him up for Kwiatkowski, and Kwiatkowski finishes the job.
Kwiatkowski, the senior, Blanding also a senior, along that front line. 3rd down and 22 from the 10-yard line. 2 wide to the left. And it's the end around. And it's nothing. Nothing for the Woodland Hills offense. Tim Hall trying to get something done, but he was unable to. Lost a couple of yards. It'll bring up 4th and very, very long. It's punt time once again for Woodland Hills.
Well, Gateway did a terrific job right there of staying, following the play and staying, following their keys and staying in place, because they had the outside. It looked like they had it sealed, but there was nowhere the cutback lane was taken away. So that's just another example of Gateway doing a fine job on defense.
Aaron Smith and Charles King, 2 men back to take the punt from Jim Kelly. Under 30 seconds left to go before halftime. Kelly punts from the middle of his own end zone. It's a short one. Smith lets it drop and then gets away from it. Down at the 35-yard line. So good field position once again for Gateway with just under 10 seconds left in the first half. So Gateway goes on offense. Football at the 35 of Woodland Hills, and Aaron Smith back to work, doing double duty here on punt return. And now at quarterback. Smith with a touchdown in this game. King with 3 touchdowns. John Ditto a big catch in this first half for Gateway. 3 wide. Tight end lines up as a wingback. Smith to throw. Near sideline and deep. It's Ditto, but he overshot his man. Good coverage on the near sideline by Terrence Johnson for Woodland Hills. 4 seconds left now in the first half. 34-0 Gateway. And again at halftime, We've got some special features for you. We'll visit with both head coaches. Looking forward to that here in 3 seconds. Second down and 10. Motion man is Ditto, left to right. Smith with the give to Colbaugh. He tries the right side, gets a couple of yards, and that's the final play of the first half here from Gateway Stadium. It's been all Gateway, the Gators, the home team, here in the third and final game of the Pennsylvania Kickoff Classic. They have scored 5 touchdowns in the first half, and Kevin, they lead 34-0. We thought Gateway had a pretty good chance to win this game, but how dominating they would be to this point, I could not have predicted.
No, I don't think anybody saw them coming out and doing it in this fashion. So explosive, and being able to do it so quickly to put the points on the board as fast as they did.
Ryan Burr standing by with head coach Terry Smith. Ryan.
Thanks a lot, guys. I am with the head coach of the Gateway Gators, and wow, 34-0, and we saw a little bit of everything, but your team speed, obviously the difference.
Yeah, we definitely have quite a few kids that can run with the football. We're making a little bit too many mistakes, though. I think we have 7 or 8 penalties. We got to minimize that if we're going to be successful later on in the season.
Coach, a rivalry game like this, 34-0, what do you say to your guys at the half? The game obviously in very good control. How do you maintain their focus?
Well, the good thing is we were in the same position last year. We were up 26-0, and we kind of let up. They scored 12 points late, so we're going to tell them we got to finish the deal. So we got to play 4 quarters.
We've hyped Justin King so much as one of the better players in the state, if not the best player in the state. Now our audience got to see just how good, how explosive this guy is. 3 touchdowns in the first half. Have you ever coached anything like this kid before?
No, and I don't know if I ever will. I mean, the explosiveness that he has is just, it's remarkable. And, first time he touches the ball, he goes 84 yards or something, and every time he touches it, we're at the edge of our seat.
Well, congratulations, Coach, on a great first half. We'll see you after the game, I'm sure.
Thanks, appreciate it.
Brent and Kevin, pure domination, really the only way to put it in the first half. Team speed. Woodland Hills prides themselves on speed, but Gateway today making a serious statement about just how quick they are, led by, of course, Justin King. Guys?
Ryan, great stuff, and Coach Smith talked about it. Never completely happy, not happy about the penalties, but I think he's putting on a little bit of a front. He couldn't have predicted this. 34-0, his team with the lead on Woodland Hills. We'll take a break. It's the Sports Fever Television Network on FSN Pittsburgh.
Andracky Law Offices is proud to bring you the inaugural Andracky Law Classic, featuring the dynamic teams of Central Catholic and St. Joe's Prep. At Andracky Law Offices, our dynamic team of professional attorneys offers a unique combination of experience and style throughout Pennsylvania, Ohio, and West Virginia. Andracky Law Offices is a firm with impeccable credentials, coupled with many years of proven experience that is built on a foundation of integrity and professional competency. Andracky Law Offices is the one firm you can trust for all of your legal needs. For a free consultation, please call 412-281-33...
That family heirloom just conjured up your worst bout of back pain yet. Should you crawl in bed and use all your sick days? Or visit that psychic healer your cousin told you about? Actually, you should talk to Blues on Call from Highmark Blue Shield, where members can learn about back pain, treatment options, everything you need to share in the decision-making with your doctor. It's the kind of high contact that helps you have a greater hand in your health.
I'm worried about Eric hanging out with the wrong crowd, staying out too late, going to parties where no adults are present. So for Eric's graduation, we figured we'd have a party here. So the kids could drink, have a good time, sleep over. We'd know where they were. It seemed like a sensible thing to do at the time.
Zoom back. Man, is that kid okay?
Yeah, it's the shirt.
Yeah?
Ultimate protection, fit, form, comfort.
Totally cool. Call 1-800-759-4443 or visit us online at northeastsportsgroup.com.
The Sports Fever Television Network presents the inaugural Northeast Sports Group Pennsylvania Kickoff Classic on FSN Pittsburgh, brought to you by the Pittsburgh Tribune-Review. Get in the game by the Landro Play Analyzer, the official play analyzer of the Pennsylvania Kickoff Classic, www.landro.com, and by Forbes Regional Hospital, a member of the West Penn Allegheny Health System. 34-0, Gateway with the lead on Woodland Hills. And Kevin Gorman, we take a look at some first half stats, but first we take a look at the highlights. Not many highlights for Woodland Hills, but for Gateway, they were great on defense, but offense, almost unexplainable.
It really is. It was a big surprise to see Gateway be able to put this many points on Woodland Hills in one half, especially when you see the fashion they did it in. You see Justin King, very second play of the game, I believe. Justin goes 84 yards, and you see him even stumbles a little bit and then just takes off. You know, untouchable there on that first play. Gives Gateway a very early lead, and then Justin has used it as the bait. And Aaron Smith takes it to the house there. You see him go 57 yards for a touchdown and puts Gateway up by 2 touchdowns. And then you're going to see the defense come into play. Dan Loheide, the junior linebacker, intercepts a Mark Rosado pass, setting up another score here by Justin King on the 1-yard run. And then you're going to see Justin Coolbaugh in pursuit from the blind side, strips Rosado, and Mike Barlack, 33-yard fumble recovery for a touchdown.
All right, Kevin, let's take a look at some first half stats now. For Justin King, they're going to be awfully gaudy, but first, one more highlight. Look at King just breaking tackles, the vision, the patience, and then the explosion as he beats his man to the corner.
Yeah, and he's shown that he can not only do it by the run, but also out of the backfield, catching a pass, making some big-time plays, and Justin King shows what kind of player he is.
First half stats, Kevin.
First downs, Woodland Hills has 3 to Gateway 7. Rushing yards is just unbelievable. You see Gateway with 179 yards. Woodland Hills held to 0. Many negative yards on the Wolverines' part. Passing yards, Gateway has a 73-59 advantage. 252 to 59 in total yards, Gateway's advantage. Woodland Hills 2 turnovers, Gateway 0. The time of possession very close. 11:49 for Woodland Hills. Gateway 12-11. But you see the penalties also there. Woodland Hills only 2, but for 16 yards. Gateway 4 for 20. Gateway really has the advantage there. You look at those stats. Total yards has almost 200 yards more.
All right, time for a break, but when we come back, we're going to talk about the Landro Play Analyzer, the official play analyzer of this Pennsylvania Kickoff Classic. Get in the game. You're going to find out all about it. It is an outstanding piece of equipment. We're going to explain it next. We're at halftime. Gateway up 34-0 on Woodland Hills. Back with more right after this. This is the Sports Fever Television Network on FSN Pittsburgh.
During Day Automotive's 25th anniversary sale, lease a car for less than you could 25 years ago. At Day Chevrolet in Monroeville, get a well-equipped 04 Chevy Impala for only $159 a month.
Day Automotive is gonna make your day.
I'm worried about Eric hanging out with the wrong crowd. Staying out too late, going to parties where no adults are present. So for Eric's graduation, we figured we'd have a party here. The kids could drink, have a good time, sleep over. We'd know where they were. It seemed like a sensible thing to do at the time.
High school football is brought to you by the PA Turnpike and Easy Pass, the convenient way to pay tolls without fumbling for change or tickets. To join, call toll-free at 877-736-6727 or visit on the web at www.paturnpike.com.
Visitors to Penn State flock to the student bookstore, the downtown State College Big Blue in the Corner bookstore, and no wonder. People love the action both outside and inside the student bookstore, especially on football weekends. People who like to make shopping fun head to the student bookstore, and no matter where you are, your computer mouse will get you there. Shop online at thestudentbookstore.com.
For in-depth, one-stop coverage of high school sports here in Pennsylvania, it's PASportsFever.com. High school sports fans, athletes, coaches, and parents click at PASportsFever.com more than 1 million times a month. Sports Fever provides breaking news, state and regional rankings, all-state and all-regional Supreme teams, rosters, and starting lineups. For football, basketball, and any other high school sports news and information 24 hours a day, log on. It's the Bible, the recognized Bible, PASportsFever.com.
Welcome back to the Pennsylvania Kickoff Classic, and we're live from Gateway High School and Pete Anna Marino Field. I'm Bill Rakoff, and with me now is Chartiers Valley head football coach Chris Saluga. We're here to talk about the Landro Play Analyzer. This is the game within a game, if you will. And Chris, you've had this now for a little while. Tell me what you think of the Play Analyzer.
Well, the best thing about the Landro Play Analyzer is that it's a great teaching tool. Our kids these days are from TV media generation. Now, instead of just putting it on the chalkboard or drawing it up on paper, we have a visual. We have a repetition. We have all the plays at access, so we don't have to fast forward, rewind. We have it at our fingertips. We could talk about the play. We could rep players that we're worried about. We could rep plays that we're worried about, formations that we're worried about. Whichever way we really want to go, we have it at our hands, and we can control that.
We're going to do a demonstration for you now of the Landro Play Analyzer, and to do that, I'm going to make believe that you're the head football coach of Woodland Hills, and you're scouting this game here tonight. So doing that, let's take a look at some of the video that we've captured here from the first half, and we'll start off by looking at Aaron Smith. And just kind of walk me through that. How do you use the Landro in order to show your guys this quarterback?
Absolutely. Well, as a coach, we're going to worry about really two main areas. What players can really hurt us, what plays can hurt us. So we're going to give our kids a lot of repetition of Aaron Smith. We're going to say, hey, this is a modern era quarterback, at least in the pros and the college. He could run, he could throw, he could do just about anything. So we want to get used to it. We just have to talk to our kids about how we have to play disciplined football. Despite the advanced schematics of modern football, it really still comes down to the fundamentals: blocking, tackling, and defensively. We have to. Everybody does their 111.
In fact, if we show this one again, you can point out the nuances where he does the fake and where he moves out. You get a chance to really get to
certainly, and we have great control. I mean, we could slow this down. We could pause. We should show clues. If we go back a little bit there, we could show actually, the ball in the air. We could show the action, the running backs. We could break it down. It's crystal clear when we show our kids.
Likewise, you have a defense that wants to read Justin King and to kind of get to know him a little bit better.
Well, once again, King in this game has shown. Obviously, we have some outside zone where it allows King to use his athleticism. He's reading the defense and their reaction, and obviously he does it correctly there. Also, eventually, it'll get short yardage. It'll go to power I, and we'll see also his ability to run the power game. Here's another zone play, once again with a great athlete. That's putting him in a position to be successful. Here's old school power eye football, and so we just have to respect Justin King, and he could hurt us in multiple ways. We can't focus on one player because they have Smith, they have King, they have multiple players, and we could show we're gonna break this down. Our kids are gonna see a lot of Justin King.
And with likewise as a scouting tool, it can also be used as a teaching tool. So if you're Mark Rosato's coach and you want to break down some of his video, it's very easy to do this versus a VCR.
Oh, certainly. I mean, once again, it's at our hands, it's at our fingertips. We're not rewinding, we're fast forwarding. We could clip Rosato every play, every pass and play, everything we want to do. So obviously our quarterback coach, offensive coordinator we're gonna talk about fundamental flaws or maybe a misread. But again, we're gonna point out the good things, the positive, the highlights, the toughness, the good reads that he makes, the completions, and it's once again, it's all there. It's there instantly.
Bottom line, what's the big difference between this and the old school way of VCR and film before that?
Well, it's more information and it's readily available. We don't have to fish through videotape. It's all there, and it's once again our kids are getting repetition.
All right, Chris Saluga with us, head coach of Chartiers Valley. We want to give you another piece on the Landro Play Analyzer and show you its origins, and once again introduce you to its owner and CEO and the inventor, Jerry Salandro. Let's take a look at that.
The digital camera goes right into our Landro Play Analyzer, and then they mark the beginning and the end of every play. Once the beginning and end of the plays are marked, they catalog them, just like you would catalog a book, by certain situations, down and distance, whether it's offense or defense, what play they ran, and then they can access that dynamically anytime they want to. When I did my research, I realized that if we can put easy tools in the hands of a teacher, and a coach is a teacher, then they'll use it more effectively with their team. But the computer's been too difficult to use, so it's impossible for coaches to learn computers and digital editing. This can be learned in 10 minutes. In 10 minutes, a coach is actually watching their third downs and longs without any video editor or technician involved. But with the reason it's easy, it's built around technology that coach understands, and that's that remote controller that they watch the football game with every weekend. You know, that remote controller, that VCR remote, forward, fast forward, rewind, that's in their hand. The Landro is controlled just with a remote controller. But instead of rewinding and fast-forwarding, they just jump from one play to another play to another play, never rewinding, fast-forwarding. It benefits the kids two ways. One, it makes the kids smarter, better, faster. And when we look at videotape, we put kids to sleep. Rewind, fast-forward. We can't even do it at home. It's so miserable. But with ours, we can allow them to get smarter, better, faster because we're able to access the things we need in less than a second. Number two, it helps the kid get into school. By accessing the highlights that the kid played for the whole season, we can make a highlight for College Recruiter in less than 10 seconds. There's never been a tool ever created that allows a coach to look at a highlight, put together a tape in 10 minutes. I've talked to recruiters across America as I travel. Recruiters tell me the number one problem with schools, they never get the videotape in a timely manner to the recruiter. It takes them 6 weeks to get a videotape to a recruiter. That just doesn't cut it when you're trying to get a kid into a school and to get a scholarship. Landro, in 10 seconds, you can have all the highlights from a season brought up.
All right, David Shirey is with me now. He's the director of sports for Landro. And David, what is it about this that you hear from people that they say makes this such a great tool?
Well, this was made for the head football coach, not a video editor, not a techno geek. It allows a head football coach to get to any play that he wants in less than a second. You want to see all your third downs where you lined up from the left hash and went from the gun? Boom, there it is in less than a second. It's a powerful teaching tool. Coaches have been using video since the beginning of time, 16 millimeter, videotape. They're still putting the time in. Now they're using their time a heck of a lot more efficiently.
It's interesting, you know, we've talked about this, and the thing almost sells itself once the coaches have a chance to see that, and that's what you've told me. And even some of the older, old school guys tend to get into this pretty quickly. Why do you think?
Absolutely. The old school guys recognize that it's a changing game and it's an age of specialization. Landro allows them to see what they need to see right now. They're not losing kids with fast forward and rewinding anymore.
This is the game within a game, the Landro Play Analyzer, and we're coming back with second half action here from Gateway High School, where Gateway leads Woodland Hills by a score of 34-0. We'll be right back on Fox Sports Pittsburgh.
Forbes Regional Hospital. We're more than just convenient.
PATtimes.com, putting you in touch with 17 championship golf courses throughout central and eastern Pennsylvania. PATtimes.com, a virtual hole-by-hole tour of each of our courses, the latest news, equipment discounts, individual instruction, and much, much more, including discounted stay-and-play packages. PATtimes.com, where you can book a tee time for tomorrow morning or find one up to 2 weeks in advance. Now is the time to look at outings for the 2005 season as well. PATtimes.com, where the game of golf puts the golfer first.
The Holiday Inn of Pittsburgh Monroeville is an ideal choice for your business and social affairs. Our versatile meeting and banquet facilities can accommodate gatherings from 10 to 300 people. Enjoy fine dining in the casual, relaxed atmosphere of Finnegan's Grill and Bar. The Holiday Inn Monroeville with 188 rooms, 5 jacuzzi suites, and now high-speed internet access in all rooms. The Holiday Inn, conveniently located a half-mile from the PA Turnpike in the Monroeville Business District, only miles from downtown Pittsburgh.
It's the shirt. Yeah. Ultimate protection, fit, form, comfort.
Totally cool. Call 1-800-759-4443 or visit us online at northeastsportsgroup.com.
34-zip at Gateway Stadium. The home team up in the third and final game of the night. They lead Woodland Hills. Justin King, first half, 14 carries for 116 yards and 2 running touchdowns, also a receiving touchdown, Kevin.
Well, Justin's been the star of the night so far, and you see it came right off the bat. Justin goes 84 yards on his first carry, just takes off, big-time play by this guy. You see the speed that he has. But he's shown so much more. It's not just straight ahead speed. The guy's got a lot of ability. He's able to, make the short yardage on the 1-yard touchdown run right there. He's also to be able to do it in the open field. Bypass, here guys catches the ball out of the backfield, cuts across field, shakes a couple tacklers, and then just outraces the rest of the Woodland Hills defense. You see him plunge there into the end zone. But Justin's put on quite a show. And people say that he's a better defensive player. It's hard to believe when you see him put on the kind of offensive performance that he has today.
But, Kevin, there is no question in college he's a D-back, right?
Certainly, because it's not because he can't play offense in college. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if some school decided to use him in the same way that a Charles Woodson or a Chris Gamble, other players, it seems to be the new trend, is to use defensive backs and put them out there on offense and let them, catch a couple passes or return kicks and punts. I'm sure whatever school that he ends up at will use him in whatever capacity they can. But I think he believes that his best chance of getting on the field as a true freshman is a cornerback. And I think he also feels like if I have to project down the line, 4 years down the line, if I can make it to the NFL, can I do it as a 6 foot, 185-pound tailback, or can I do it as a 6 foot, 185-pound cornerback? He's looking at this long term. That's his goal, is to play in the NFL. He also wants to get into management. He says, hey, I don't want to do all the coaching. That's too much work. I want to get into upper-level management. I want to be able to run the show. Well, right now he's putting on a show, and you can see why this guy is considered one of the top 10 players in America.
And, Kevin, it's been more than just Justin King, but Aaron Smith, 2 carries, 65 yards, playing excellent quarterback here in the first half. A carry for Justin Colbaugh. He saw some time. Smith passing 2 for 5 for 97 yards. One of those passes that was caught by John Ditto, 61 yards.
And that's why you see the future. This isn't a one-year thing for Gateway. They were very good last year. They lost Morty Ivy. They're even better this year. Well, they lose Justin King. The bottom's not going to drop out on Gateway. The Gators have Aaron Smith coming back next year. John Ditto's back. Dan Loheidy's back. You've seen all these guys make big plays so far. John Ditto's only a sophomore. You see, this team could turn into a passing team next year with Aaron Smith throwing the ball and John Ditto catching it. So this is a Gateway team that's going to be up top for years to come, especially with Terry Smith in charge. He's done a terrific job of instilling discipline and looking at, the 2 mentors that he's had, Walter Pete Antamarino, who's had the stadium named after him, and Joseph Paterno up at Penn State. He's taken 2 guys who are legendary coaches in their level of competition, and he's learned from them, and he's trying to instill that into his players. And you can see the discipline when you see them come out single file or double file, each player doing that, and they also do the calisthenics after the game. This is a team that has really bought into the program.
All right, second half kickoff is next. This is the Sports Fever Television Network on FSN Pittsburgh.
Zoom back.
Man, is that kid okay?
Yeah, it's the shirt.
Yeah?
Ultimate protection, fit, form, comfort.
Totally cool. Call 1-800-759-4443 or visit us online at northeastsportsgroup.com.
Forbes Regional Hospital. We're more than just convenient.
The Sports Fever Television Network presents the inaugural Northeast Sports Group Pennsylvania Kickoff Classic here on FSN Pittsburgh, brought to you by Day Automotive, Pittsburgh's #1 auto dealer, by Highmark Blue Shield, have a greater hand in your health, and by the Pennsylvania Turnpike's Easy Pass. Make your life easier by joining today. 34 zip at the half, and for Woodland Hills, not much offense. In fact, rushing the football, no yards. For Gateway, 181 yards on the ground.
Well, Gateway really has taken to them very early. They established that this was going to be a big play offense. You saw as much as they've piled up the yards, it's been in large chunks. 84-yard run by King, 57-yard run by Aaron Smith. So that takes care of 130 plus of that. So, really, Woodland Hills has done a good job on the other plays. But you can't just rely on those plays. You have to stop them every down, especially when you have a team that can score at any time. And you're going to see, you're going to see this team be able to do this year. If you're doing it against Central Catholic and you're doing it against Woodland Hills, what happens when you hit the rest of the schedule? When you don't hit the elite teams of WPIL, you're going to see this team be very explosive this year. And, I think last week might have been a bit of a preview of something to come when you see Central and Gateway start the season off. Maybe they'll be the teams that end it down at Heinz Field.
Justin King, a big first half, over 100 yards on the ground, also a touchdown through the air, 3 scores in all, plus a 2-point conversion. On the flip side for Woodland Hills, quarterback Mark Rosado, 3 for 5 for 34 yards and a costly interception. And Matt Driggs, their starting running back, has yet to get on track. 7 carries, 6 yards. In moments, we're going to send it down to Ryan Burr, and he's going to have an interview with George Novak. If you're George, before we hear the interview, what did you tell these guys at halftime?
Well, I think you remind them that this is Woodland Hills. This isn't the first time. This is maybe the first time it's happened to these guys, and you want to remind them that this has to be the last, and to go out there and play with some pride. They have some guys that have played before them that that have done some great things, and that's why they have so much on their shoulders. That these guys have some great expectations, but they're going to have to learn from adversity, and that's what you find out. Whether a team, what they're made of is when they have to handle that adversity. Woodland Hills has been down before. I can remember 1999 they were losing 10-0, I believe, at the half to Penn Hills in the season finale. They came back out there behind Shante Spencer, a quarterback, and they ended up winning the game, and it was one of their undefeated seasons. So they've had some on the line. Now whether they can come back from a 34-point deficit remains to be seen. But I'm sure George Novak reminded them, let's do the little things. Let's make the small. Let's start small and think. Then you think big. Let's not go out there and try to. Let's not try to erase a 34-point deficit in one play, because it's not going to happen. But and you're seeing George Novak's having to do a little bit more coaching than maybe he's had to in the past. But that's the kind of thing I think coaches like him like to have that challenge.
Last year they were 7-4, and they were 1-0 coming into tonight's game. But if they're going to even the record at 1-1, it's going to take an enormous second half. Ryan Burr standing by with the head coach. Ryan?
Yeah, thanks, Brent. Coach George Novak with us now. And, Coach, obviously 34-0, a big road ahead of you here. What do you say in the locker room?
Well, whatever could go wrong went wrong that first half. They got a great football team. We made a lot of mistakes. There were a lot of young guys starting their first big game here today on TV and everything. I think they're a little nervous, and things started rolling the wrong way, and they kept rolling.
Last thing.
We're fighting to get back in the game, to get better every play and to work hard.
Okay, thanks, Coach. Appreciate it. Good luck in the second half. There you go, Brent. Not a whole lot to say. 34-0. That's tough on a head coach, especially with a young football team. Guys?
George Novak's team 7-4 last year, failed to reach the Whitfield final for the first time in 5 years. So by their standards, last year, a down year at 7-4, they were knocked out by Central Catholic in the quarterfinals. But one game does not make a season if they can't.
That's a Woodland Hills team that was still the co-champions in their conference. I believe they went into that conference finale, and even though they lost, they still were co-champions. And this is a team that maybe doesn't have quite the strut that it's used to having. But this is a Woodland Hills team that's going to still be in the mix when the season's over. You're still going to see this. Obviously they're going to make the playoffs because 6 of 8 teams in their conference make it this year with the new Whitfield Quad A structure. But Woodland Hills has some talent out there. And like Coach Novak said, a lot of things that could go wrong did for this team. And now he's going to have to say, let's start over as if this game is 0-0 at the half. Let's pretend like we're starting over, and let's show them what we're all about, because they're certainly not going to quit.
Flipping to the other side, and Aaron Smith, the quarterback, his second start of his career at quarterback tonight for Gateway. And Smith, head coach Terry Smith, told me that Aaron had one of the best debuts by a quarterback making his first start in a long, long time, and that was talking about last week's loss to Central Catholic. And you can tell Aaron Smith looks back there like a guy that is not making it the second start of his career at quarterback.
No, he looks very calm and confident back there. He looks like he's poised in the pocket, and he knows what he's doing. And, maybe that helps having Justin King behind him. But what I think has really helped is the guys that he has in front of him. They've done a terrific job of keeping the pressure off of Aaron and giving him time to make those plays. One thing that's a little underrated is the quality of Gateway's offensive line. We talked about Matt Hoey. They also have another tackle in Chris Hanna, a junior who's just a monstrous guy. I think he goes something like 6'4", 292 as a junior. So here's another prospect, and that line's just done a terrific job with tight end Seckley, Hanna, Paul Sholokov, Joe Jones, Matt Hoey, and the center, Mike Cornelius.
Aaron Smith, we talked about it, 2 for 5, 97 yards in the first half. I think Terry Smith maybe would have liked to see his guys throw the ball a little bit more in that first half, but it was something we touched on, Kevin. It's awfully hard to to work on things when you're up by this much? I mean, at what point do you consider that possibly you're rubbing it in the opposing team's face?
Well, that's the thing is you know, and the other thing is when you're up that much, you want to get the game over as quickly as possible. So that's the fastest way to get the game going is to run the ball. And so, you know, and the other thing is the fastest way to get another team back in the game is to open up the passing game and make a few mistakes where you throw an interception or you have a fumble in the backfield and give a team a chance to pounce on you and capitalize on those mistakes. So they're going to play it safe. They're probably going to run the ball as much as possible. I wouldn't be surprised to see them open up with a pass here and there just to keep Woodland Hills honest and also to keep some of the pressure off the backfield guys like Smith and King. The last thing you want to do when you have a 34-point lead is to lose somebody to an injury.
We're set for the third quarter, and Matt Lichtenstein set to kick it off. Here's the run-up and the kick, and, boy, he's got a good leg. This one drives Terrence Johnson back into the end zone, and that'll be a touchback. So Woodland Hills will take it 1st and 10 at the 20 as we start our third quarter. It's a 5-touchdown lead for the Gateway Gators, and what a stadium here today. This is the third and final game. We've mentioned it throughout the broadcast. Third and final game of this Pennsylvania Kickoff Classic. We've seen 6 outstanding teams. Unfortunately, to this point, 3 lopsided games.
Well, we could have seen 4 games here. The potential was there for a quadruple header when the game was proposed, but Woodland Hills was very adamant that they wanted another crack at Gateway after last season's loss. They're getting their chance at them, but it hasn't turned out quite the way the Wolverines expected.
Mark Rosado with a first down at the 20. They keep it on the ground for Griggs, and he gets up over the 25 to the 26-yard line. Lohide, who had an interception early on in this game, with the tackle for Gateway. It's a pickup of 6 yards on first down for Matt Griggs, who had 7 carries and just 6 yards in the first half for the Wolverine offense.
Well, that's where I think you're going to see Woodland Hills get back to basics and say, hey, guys, it starts up front. You need to open some holes for these guys to run the ball. And, you're going to see them come back with the running game. And if the pass is there, they'll take it. But I don't think you're going to see Woodland Hills force this at all.
High formation with Hart. Tim Hall, the wideouts. And they run it for Griggs. Griggs with a crease up near the 35-yard line. A first down pickup for Woodland Hills. So maybe a confidence builder here to start the third quarter. What if you could get that early touchdown on your first drive? If nothing else, just for some confidence here.
Well, you see Griggs, when he finally has some room to run, he shows what he can do. There was a bad handoff, a little slip by the fullback, but Griggs gets out to the outside before the ball is fumbled, but obviously it goes out of bounds before Brandon Lipsey is able to haul it in.
1st and 10, they mark it at the 38. Again, 2 wide. High formation for Woodland Hills. Rosado will run it again for Matt Griggs. Griggs up over the 45 to the 46. Another good chunk of yardage on first down for Matt Griggs. Brandon Livesey able to take him down in the Gateway secondary. A minute deep here into the third quarter. A 5-touchdown lead here for Gateway. Gateway looking to even their record at 1-1. Aaron Stuckey into the game along with Tim Hall. Those are the 2 wideouts for Woodland Hills on 2nd down and 2 from the 46. Again, the backfield in the eye. And again, Rosado wants to run it. It's Griggs. Griggs shedding tacklers and gets the first down and falls forward up near midfield. Good, tough running in the early moments of this second half for Matt Griggs.
Well, maybe Coach Novak was right. These guys came out here with a little bit of jitters and got shell-shocked early when Justin King exploded for that 84-yard run. Now you're seeing what Matt Griggs can do. I mean, obviously they're down by 34, and Gateway's going to kind of just try to hold and contain him. But he runs low to the ground, and he's hard to tackle. He sheds those blockers, and he follows the blockers and sheds the tacklers.
10-10 to go in the third. 1st and 10 from midfield for the Wolverines. Rosado the throw. Steps up. Far down the sideline. Undershot his man, but it's still picked up by Wes Lyons. Outstanding catch by Lyons. The 6'6 junior with his second catch of the night down inside the 20 of Gateway.
You see Rosado puts the ball on the money here, but Brandon Livesey tries to come across and tip it away from before he misses it, and then Lyons just climbs over top by Also. Makes a terrific catch there. That shows you a 6'6 guy who can run and jump He's put up a couple big plays there, and I wouldn't be surprised to see the Wolverines go to him again real soon.
His older brother, Devin Lyons, playing D1 football now. Somebody jumped, they blow it dead. On a first down play, this one will move Woodland Hills back 5 yards.
And that's 3 catches for Lyons for 67 yards. So you see, big things happen when you go to that big guy. And, it's just a matter of whether Woodland Hills can open up that offense. It seems like they've gone to him with practically the same play each time. I'd like to see him go across the middle or maybe throw it out to him in the flat. But when you have a big guy like that, you want to put it up in one-on-one situation and let him go up for the jump ball.
Ball start, moves it back 5. It'll be first down 15, and the ball resting at the 23. Coach Novak beside himself here. Rosado sends a man in motion. And that's Lyons again. And it gives to Matt Griggs. Griggs into the open field, inside the 10, down to the 8-yard line. And again, Matt Griggs, who got virtually nothing in the first half, with a big second half, at least on this opening drive in the third quarter. Brandon Livesey with the tackle that possibly saved a touchdown. Three minutes deep into the third. Darren Walls checks into the game for the Woodland Hills offense.
You see Griggs, 5 carries for 44 yards right here in the third quarter. So he's shown a little flash of what he can do, and you see why he's the guy everybody was hyping before the game.
It's a 4th and 1, and they go for it from the 9. Handoff Griggs, gets to the outside, cuts it upfield, and he's right around the first down marker. A late penalty flag in the area of the Woodland Hills backfield. He did get the first down, but we'll wait to see what the penalty was. The Gateway sideline is clapping down there, so it appears it's against the Wolverines. Ryan down on the sideline. Ryan?
Hey, guys, we've talked so much about Justin King today. An interesting story down here on the sidelines. A scout from USC is here to see Justin. Not giving up hope are the Trojans. However, Justin, as I'm sure Kevin has talked about, down to Penn State and Michigan. Pretty much he has said those are his final 2. The defending national champion Trojans, though, not ready to give up the fight for one Justin King just yet.
Well, it's I'd say it'd be a heck of a place to go, but the list, I mean, you got Michigan in there, you got Penn State, you got Pitt. Perhaps at a place like Penn State, Pitt, you can contribute a little bit more early on. How much of a factor that'll be in his decision, have to wait and see. Griggs on second down, and he gets it down inside the 15.
Yeah, it's impressive when a Southern Cal coach comes from L.A. in to see Justin King. He's taking advantage, obviously, of being able to see a triple header in one day as opposed to coming in and see one game. That's one of the NCAA rules. You can only